Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Jim with Amy Sews, and I thought I'd touch on an issue that a lot of us may not give enough attention to, and that's keeping your machine clean, not only outside, but inside, internally in the bobbin case area. And another area that you may not give the attention to that it really deserves to have, which will not only be healthier for a machine, but will actually improve your machine stitching. So that being said, I'm going to take you over to the sewing machine where we're going to get into it in more detail. Here I'm in front of our Janome M17, and usually when we go to clean out our bobbin area, we're just going to go and remove the case, take out our bobbin. We'll take a little brush, and of course we'll brush out all through here. Depending on our machine, we may even be able to take out our bobbin case just by doing that. But there's another important area that I want to touch on. And now, right now, I'm going to do is take off my foot so we can see better. And I'm just going to touch the bobbin button on the machine to remove the throat plate. And by doing that, you may be able to see that I got a lot of lint. Well, not a whole lot, but there's enough here that's starting to build up. Again, when you work on a lot of projects, if you're working with a lot of natural fibers like cotton, etc., not only will it build up around your bobbin case area, but it will also build up under your feed teeth or your feed dogs, whatever you like to call. Look at that. And that's from the area that's just under your bobbin, under your throat plate. That protects your bobbin, and this is just in between the feed teeth that I'm wiping out. If you get a stubborn area, one of the things I like to use is actually a chenille stem, and I can actually kind of go back and forth like I'm brushing in between, and I can get out the lint that way if it's a little stubborn. One of the tools that we also may use would be a stick with a cotton swab on the end like that. The only thing is it's a little wide to fit in between where my feed teeth are. So that's why I rather rely on a chenille stem that I can get in here and really loosen it up. I may even use my weeding tool from my scan and cut just to go in there, but do that very carefully because I don't want to actually score the metal, or if your machine is made such plastic, I don't want to go and damage that. So I would do that with very extreme care to it so I don't damage my machine. But again, I would just take my chenille stem, wipe through all that area. If it's a little congested, go across the back, get those teeth nice and clean. And then, of course, I would just come along with my brush and sweep it all out. Or even better, if I have a little vacuum or a vacuum attachment that I can put on my home vacuum cleaner, I can then use that to draw all the lint out. I do not want to use canned air. One of the problems with canned air is that if you direct it incorrectly, instead of having the lint being removed or expelled from the free arm of your machine, you're going to pack it back in even further. And the other thing too is a lot of times when you get those canned air, you got to be really careful with them because a lot of them do have moisture inside that container. And what you'll be doing actually is blowing, moisture in your machine, which is not a good thing to do. So just kind of go in there with your brush, your vacuum attachment, and get out all those bits of lint that kind of build up. Because the other thing too is if you have a lot of lint that's building up on the feed teeth, that area in between the teeth, that metal plate that's holding them all, it's going to actually cause it to compact, preventing the teeth from rising up through the throat plate of the machine. You want to be able to make sure that those teeth fully clear that throat plate of your machine. And if you have lint built up on there, it can actually get to the point where your machine, just from the sewing action, it's going to go and pack it in, because as your feed teeth are going back and forth like that, it's going to pack it up on top of that space in between the feed teeth and build up like a layer of felt. And that way it'll not only prevent the fabric from, or the teeth from actually moving fully through the throat plate, it'll prevent the fabric from gliding through the machine, inhibiting the flow of the fabric and more likely the quality of the machine stitching, because the feed teeth are being prevented from accurately moving the fabric along, especially if you're doing a side motion stitching design or one of those larger stitch patterns that our machines do now. If the fabric is having to be moved side by side, if those feed teeth aren't projected enough through the throat plate, you're not going to get a good stitch quality. So that's one of the things why we want to make sure that every time you clean out your bobbin case area, pop that throat plate off and clean underneath it for a much better result. Okay. Thanks for watching. And again, I'm Jim from Amy Sews. Be sure to follow us, tell your friends about us, and be sure to go to the website, amybachmansewingquilt.com, to find out about more classes online and in store that we have to offer. And if you like my little tip, be sure to follow me. Go to sewingexpo.com, as I'm one of the staff instructors for the Original Sewing Quilt Expo. So you can follow me there, and maybe I'll see you in class. So that being said, again, thanks for watching. And remember, the more you know, the more you sew. Take care.